Welcome to Brighter Rays. This week's study is called The Beginning of Knowledge, and we're looking at Proverbs 1:7. In Proverbs 1:6, we learned about the purpose of this book. When you open the Bible to the book of Proverbs, you need to be prepared to receive wisdom, instruction, and understanding. That's what this book contains, and to think you're getting something else would be described by the book of Proverbs as foolishness, because it tells you right up front what this book is all about. This book will educate you in the ways of holiness. It will instruct you in such a way that you will gain understanding, and through this knowledge and understanding, you'll gain wisdom. The second reason to read this book is to receive instructions in wise dealing. Wisdom naturally leads to right behavior. If you're thinking correctly, you know how things are supposed to be, then you will act accordingly. You will act the way you should act. And so in this book, we have instruction in righteousness and in justice and in equity. So you know how to behave towards God and towards other people. It's really the idea of the Ten Commandments, but laid out in a instructional book, right? Because you have the first tablet of the Ten Commandments, that how do you relate to God, and then the second the second of the tablet of the Ten Commandments is how you relate to other people. And so in the book of Proverbs, you have all this laid out in details and how to live this out in very practical applications. Now, the third reason this book exists is to give knowledge. It is for simple or those that are ignorant or easily swayed people. So that's what this book is for. Remember, it's for the simple are not those who are like dumb or those who are mentally handicapped. That's not exactly what it's talking about. It's talking about those who may be ignorant because they just haven't been taught yet, or those who are easily swayed, the naive. So it might be for those who have mental handicaps. That's the book is for everyone, really. But when we talk about simple, we shouldn't be thinking of just that kind of idea. Also, it's for the youth and children who are just learning what it means to follow Christ. So this book is specifically geared toward them as well, so they can know what life is all about, how to live life. And they run into certain people, they'll know how to interact with them. They'll, if they have to go to court, they know what they should be doing. If they run into the king, they know how to act in front of the king. They know not to be lazy, but to be workers. They know not to be a fool and rebellious against God. So you have all that in there and all that great instructions. And then finally, it's for those who are already wise. Those who are wise will continue to learn from this book. They will grow in their wisdom. Proverbs also gives us the wise guidance. It's a trusted counselor to help us in the decisions of life. So this book also teaches you what is Proverbs, what it is called. It's a book of Proverbs. So it teaches you about Proverbs. It teaches you short and succinct teachings that have an impact and are easily remembered. You also will gain wisdom about how to understand things that are difficult. It unlocks all the other forms of wisdom. So if you learn these Proverbs, then you can unlock the other forms of wisdom. Now you're prepared for when Jesus comes and he's teaching you parables. You got the Proverbs. Those help unlock the parables of God. You got the Proverbs. Now when prophecy comes, you'll be able to understand. So the more you understand Proverbs, the more you understand the prophetic parts of the book. That's the problem with many people when they study book of Revelation. They've never studied the Old Testament. They don't understand all the allusions to the Old Testament that is found in the book of Revelation. And so you're missing out a lot of the imagery, a lot of the teachings, a lot of the things. I mean, the book of Revelation starts off with, blessed are those who hear these words and then do them. Well, what are you supposed to do? What is Revelation talking about? Most people think it's just like an end times code book or something. So there's really no practical things in there. But it says, blessed are those who do them. So how do you do that? Well, if you learn the book of Proverbs, you would have some insight into what you're supposed to be doing. All that's in the prologue of the book, right? All that's in the first 6 verses. And now we turn to Proverbs 1:7. So we have our first true proverbial saying: the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. I want to argue that this proverb is the king of proverbs. This is the one that you must get. If you do not get this proverb, you might as well just throw the rest of the book out, because this is the foundational proverb of all proverbs. This is the one you have to know. It will be repeated over and over again in this book. And it's for a good reason, because this is the one you have to get. This is the beginning one. This is the entrance into this wisdom of Proverbs. So you have to learn it and understand it. Otherwise, the rest of the book will become meaningless to you. It's just a collection of quaint phrases for you to know. And what it says is that fools despise this. So fools will despise even this very foundational proverb. The beginning of knowledge is found after the fear of the Lord. So believers read and find the very words of life here, but the fools that come to this book will just find it foolishness. They'll find it stupid. Like, these things are not wise. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. This is the beginning of the wisdom that we're going to gather from this book. We've heard why to read this book, and now we're going to get into what the actual book is all about. The fear of the Lord and the beginning of wisdom. So next time we'll jump in, kind of tear this verse apart and see what it has to tell us.